Hey there, everybody. Robert Taylor with Wonderscape Creations, continuing on with our companion system. We will now get everything hooked into narrative dialogue. Um, and in order to do that and speed up the process, I've gone ahead and set a few things up myself. So feel free to pause this if you want to take a look at my options here. This way, all we have to do is set up the conditions in the events to ensure that the right things show up and that the right things are done. Um, and I've attached it to my NPC that will be doing everything. I'll have one NPC add all of my companions. Um, and then on top of that, I made sure that the activity configuration for now is set to default. If you have your own already made, go ahead and set that. But this ensures that once they are set to follow, they will actually follow. Lastly, you are going to want to make sure that you have a nav mesh bounds covering your practice area. You can always hit P in order to confirm that it is indeed showing up where it's supposed to. So let's go ahead and get started. We do have quite a few things that we need to go ahead and make. So in order to do that, we need to set up dialogue events and dialogue conditions. And I already have a place set up for me to go ahead and make those. I've got to move some stuff around because I obviously here have in systems I have dialogue where I have stuff still reorganizing my project. Um, got away from me, but anyways, we are going to go ahead and set up everything that we need. But real quick, I'm going to pause it and find out where all my relationship stuff is because I don't want it in three separate locations. I actually haven't added my conditions and everything from relationships directly into this project, so I'll do that after this video so I don't forget again. So let's go ahead and we will use this location for tails for conditions and events. We're going to start off with events. Um, Now we're going to create one on the fly because for some reason I didn't create an add companion event. I think it's because in my mind, if I'm adding them as a companion, then the next logical step is to try to add them as a party member. But there may be instances where that's just not going to work. And to save on optimization, we'll go ahead and create that now. So obviously we need to create a new blueprint and we're going to look for narrative event. We're going to go ahead and hit select there. And I do NE for narrative event and we will call this one add to companions. We'll open this up here and we need to override the execute event execute, and we will target not target controller get component by class, and it's going to search for our AC companion, at which point we will do add companion just like this. And then we're going to pull out of here, promote to variable, NPC let's see. Yeah, we'll leave it as NPC definition. We need to expose it so that it shows up. File and save. The next thing we're going to do is get the graph, get graph display text. Remove that here. And we will make an append. Add spacebar. Get this NPC definition here. Get NPC name. Right there. And add a pen, and we're going to put a space after that from, not from, to companions. File and save. Okay. Now that we have that one done, we need to create the remove NPC companion from party slot. So let's go ahead and do that here. Blueprint, narrative, event. Now, if you want to, you can duplicate, but there's sometimes a bug that comes when you just duplicate things, especially when you do it rapidly. So I tend to avoid doing that in most cases nowadays. Remove from companions. Now it is very similar, obviously. Execute event. I can just come over here, copy this. Did add right? Yep. Remove. So we have NPC from companions, and then we can also do it this way. The reason I choose to do it this way is because if they are in the party, I want them removed. So it will check that first. Remove from companions. If you want to create an additional function that checks to see if they are in the party before removing from the companions, then you could do that. But I didn't want to take the extra steps to do that. And in my mind, I'm removing them as a companion. It's better to just make sure they're not in the party. Now, if you want to make their way to where you um, can control that differently, then you can go right ahead. That's why I did also leave the remove NPC from companions. So that way, if you wanted to check to see if they were in the party first, and if they're not, then just remove. It ultimately does the exact same thing that's in here, though. Next thing we want to do is promote to a variable to check to see if we want to despawn the NPC. Obviously, we need the NPC as well. Copy and save. The next one we want to do is to add to party. The add to party is can be a little more complicated and should be. So let's go ahead and get another narrative event. NE add to party. We're going to open this up. Oh, one thing I forgot to do here in the we need to override this text here in the remove from companions. If we just come here to this one, we do that and just change it to remove from. There we go. Compile and save. Now back here in the add to party, execute event, we will want this component again. This time we're going to promote it to a variable and call it companion comp. And we don't want this to be seen, so I'm going to set it to private so that we don't see it whenever we're adding it to our graphs. And now we're going to get companions because we don't want them joining, and they can't join unless they are a companion. So we want a for each loop. We check. We're going to hit the add NPC definition. NPC definition. Pull down the B for branch. If it's true, then we just want to try add NPC to party slot. All right, we'll get the NPC definition here. If they ultimately wind up not being found within this array here, we will want to get the companion component again, add NPC to companions, get our NPC definition, and plug that in right there, and perfect. This will ensure that everything is set up as it should be. Now, of course, we want to override the text. And again, from this one, copy paste. We don't need the default. Add to party. So now we have it to where we are adding to the party. There we go. Needed to fix that for my own sanity. And now they will be added to the party. Next, we need to remove from the party. Excuse me. So, another narrative event. NE. Remove from party. And this one is another one that's slightly longer, which again is fine. So I'm going to come here to the add to party one. I'm going to get this right here. I'm going to override the event. There we go. Again, we want to make sure that the component is private. Excuse me. Now, the first thing we want to do is get the party because we want to find the correct party slot. Do a for each loop. And do the all familiar break at this point. We want the slot tag. No, not the slot tag. We want the character. Get NPC definition. Equals. Down the B for a branch. And if it's true, then we need our companion reference. Oh, I don't know why I just did that. We'll leave that empty for a minute. Try remove NPC from party slot. I'm going to promote this to a variable. Grab this variable right there. There we go. Now it's set correctly. then we also want to promote these. We want to see if we want them despawned, and if we also want them removed from our companions. File, they're defaulted to false, I believe. Yes, they are. So we are now good to go here on the event. We now need to go to the display. Obviously, we'll delete that. We'll come back here to the add to party. Let's copy and paste this. Place that in there. Remove from party. Now that one's ready. We got a couple more events, and then we'll have a few conditions to make, and then we can attach it all to confirm that it works before we end this episode. So the next one we want are for our followers. So narrative event, NE add follower. I'm going to open this up. Execute event. Obviously, from this event, all we need is the get components. This is a very simple setup at this point. We're going to do add NPC to followers. Promote to variable. Make sure that it's visible. Then we're going to override the display. And do exactly what we did here. Add to party. Not party. Followers. There we go. And the last event. Remove follower. So I don't have to keep going back and forth. I'll go ahead and do the display text first. Remove from followers. Promote that. Make sure the eye is visible. Execute event. Go ahead and grab these things here. Remove NPC from followers. And as you could probably guess, we also want to one second here. I'm doing something weird with these followers. So I'm actually making sure they are a follower before I remove them. That's smart. Let's go ahead and do that. So for that, we need to promote to variable companion comp. Set it to private here. Get followers. For each loop. Excuse me. Get NPC definition. see if it equals this. If it does, get our companion component, promote this to a variable, compile, and save. Now, I have gone ahead and done it this way because we don't actually verify that they are inner followers before we remove them. So if you actually wanted this part right here done before it removes them, then you could simply come in here and instead of find, go ahead and do a for each loop to find, to see if it's there, and if so, then remove it. But I decided for some reason to do it this way, and I actually like it that way. If I know for a fact they're a follower, I can just simply remove them instead of having to go through a for each loop through the entire array. So that was probably my logic when I made it. So now we can get into the conditions. So I'm going to jump into my conditions folder here. And now we want to get narrative conditions. And the first one we're going to do is NC for narrative condition is party full. I'll rename everything to TLCOA later. I'm not going to have you guys dealing with any of that. We're going to be overriding both of the overridable functions. So first we're going to check the display. Not check the display, check condition. And as per usual with our NEs here, we need to get the component. I'm going to close all of my events now that I don't need them. I'm going to get this controller. And we're going to get our find first empty slot. Now, here's my notes, is what I use now. I did have party slots full. That way, if you want a more logical Boolean for it, that's easy for you to remember, you know, party slots full versus find first empty slot, then feel free. I have it right here for you. I'll likely add it myself off air. But essentially, you check the party, you verify that the slot is in use. If so, we're going to make this local true array count increment +1. And then once it's gone through the entire party, it checks local true current count against the length of the party. If it's true, then it's full. If it's false, then obviously there's still some empty slots. So those are the two options, is utilizing this or utilizing this, which is essentially doing the same thing, just a different name. So there's that for you to consider. But anyways, sorry, let me get back to my notes in here. Go ahead and just tack that there. And that's all we need to verify that condition. Let's go ahead and we're going to change this. And I'm just typing in here, check if party is full. Compile and save. And we are done with that condition. Now for the next narrative condition, NC underscore NPC in party. So for this, let's go ahead and open this up. Just like in this one. I actually don't think I need to do that. Where you need to check the condition. We need to get the component by class. And we're going to get party. For each loop. Then we'll do a break. Keep just the character. Get NPC definition. At which point we need to make ourselves a variable called NPC definition. Make sure it's exposed. NPC definition here. Equals. Whoops. I don't even know what button I pushed there. If it's true, we need a local variable that we will call final result. Get a Boolean. We're going to set it as true right here. And then once complete, put it right there. Now the reason we want to do this is because sure, if it's there, it'll automatically it would set it as true. If we were to just plug this in there, but if it's not there, then it would continue on. Now, obviously, I think if I'm correct, I could actually just plug this into the return right here, but this is how I chose to do it, and it works. I know for a fact it works. If you want to mess around with it, you can. I may mess around with it in the future now that I realize that I can actually do it that way. And then in the display here, all I'm putting here, I'll go ahead and append this time since we have a reference here. Get NPC name. Check if space. Plug that in B, and then space is in party. Compile and save. And now we're going to see if somebody is a companion. Over here, not companion, narrative condition in C, NPC is companion. Let's go ahead and open that up, and we need to overwrite the check condition. Obviously, we need to get the actor component. And essentially, we're doing the exact same thing that's in here. So I'm going to go ahead and be a bit on the lazy side and grab these and this. Copy, paste that in here. This can be deleted. Create variable, make sure it's visible. Did I do that here? I did. Okay. Now we want to get companions. That's right. For each loop. Set that to true. Place that there. Now, like I said, and I think in this case it would actually be smart to do it this way. Now I think about it, because we could have a crap ton of companions, and we don't want to have to go through all 18 before getting the final result here. File and save. And the final condition that we want to check is narrative condition in C. NPC is follower. Now, before we go into that, I forgot I needed to override this right here so that we have the display here. And I'll do an append check if space NPC name add pin space is companion. File and save. Now let's open up our follower here. The check condition. That's right. Don't need that. Get component, not parent component. By class. Companions. Get followers for each. Get no, not narrative. Get NPC definition. Wait a second. Oh, it already is an NPC definition. File and save. So we need to get an equal here. Create NPC definition. NPC definition. Branch. If it's true. There we go. And I think about it, I think that's a smoother way to do it. File and save. And then the last override here. And I'll come back here to the companion one to take this append to save myself some time. Check to see if they are a follower. Perfect. So now we have everything we need. I'm going to show you guys how to use it now. If you feel like you don't need it, then this is where we can say goodbye for this episode, and you can go on to the next one. However, I will be continue recording to help those that need additional help further understanding narrative tales. So if you are leaving, I'll see you in the next episode. For the rest of you, let's finish this up. I do apologize for the length, but it is a requirement when bug testing to ensure that everything works. So we will be speaking to Adronia, and I've already given her the dialogue in which she will be utilizing. So at this point, if I come over here, hit play, I come over here to Adronia, I can talk to her, and I have every option. We want to make sure that these are only showing up under specific conditions. So let's go ahead and set that up now. So first off, stop following me. We only want this to show up if they are a follower. Come over here. I didn't give it a category, so it's under default. I'm going to search for Adronia here. And it should now not show up. Hit play. It's no longer showing up. So now, follow me. We don't want it to show up at all. Conditions. Grab this. Is follower. We get Adronia, but this time we want to change the conditions to not. Compile and save. We hit play. Follow me is still here. If I tell her to follow me, she will. Interesting that she's not, and this is why we bug test. So let's find out why. I will be right back once I do. Silly me, it's because we haven't set up the event. So let's go ahead and add the event here so that we can test and make sure this condition is working. So Roger, now we need to add an event. We look for our add follower. Come down here, come to our defaults, we find Adronia. Now, for me specifically, you can set it when you want to, but I found that sometimes in the events, doing it at the end seems to work better in most cases, if not all of them. So I have that set to end. Adronia, yes, traveler, follow me. There we go. Adronia is now following me. If I speak to Adronia again, follow me is gone, but stop follow me is still there. It is now there. So now if we click that, as you wish, and she should, in a moment, we have a bug. She has continued to follow. So let me find out why, so that she will then go back afterwards. Because if I'm not mistaken, she's been cleared, but the goal has not been removed. And again, user error. I'm feeling foolish. I guess I'm a little burned out here. Stop following me. We need to set the event. Hit the plus sign. And NE remove follower. Event, we want it on end. For the default. Adronia, we do not want to destroy the NPC. Compile and save. Yes, traveler. Follow me. Stop following me. And there we go. Has gone back. See, sometimes the bugs are user error, and even I'm not perfect. Now that we know that these two are working, we have some other stuff that we want to set up. We want to, well, something we forgot to add here. Become a companion. Sounds like a plan. There we go. So for stop being a companion, let's go ahead and select this. Because in order for this to show up, we want to see if they are a companion. So is the NPC a companion? See, we don't want to see final result. So first we'll do this, and then I'm going to go to that condition as companion, make this private. It's actually not even needed. Compile and save. Right here. So now that's not showing up. And now they will stop being a companion, but we need to set up the event. So we look for remove from companions, default, choose her. And in fact, there's a few of these that we need to do. Now you could make an array so that it runs it based off of the amount of people that are here in this instance. But because there's going to be no instance where I have a mass of people joining at once. I'm not going to create an array like that. I'll instead just come in here and I'll create duplicates of this event. I need 5 of them. We've got 4. So I'm going to come over here. In the default, click on this, Embril. Actually, I can just do it this way because I can see which ones I've changed. And then finally, for the last one, Emnari. I believe that's all of them. There should only be 5. There are only 5. Let's compile and save. So this will now remove them all. Now, for becoming a companion, we need to do the same thing. First, need to do one other thing. So we don't want either of these showing up if they're already a companion. Well, actually, we might want them to if they're companions. If they're a party member, that we don't. So we'll leave this the same for now because we're not testing parties yet. So now, become a companion. Check if Adronia is a companion. So we have that event here. All we're doing is confirming whether they are or not. The next thing we want to do is use the exact same condition. Check NPC as companion. This time we want to come to conditions and check mark not. That way it puts it in the reverse. Put Adronia there. So this way, now we should only see become a companion and not stop being a companion when we first initiate contact. Once they're a companion, then we'll see stop being a companion, but not see become a companion. And we're going to verify that in a second after we set up the events. So now we need to add, let's see, add NPC to companions. Over here. And select her, and then just like before, duplicate this until it shows 5 of them. And now let's go ahead and open up this, go to the defaults. I think I just did. Yep, I did. That's why I decided to leave it open this time. Oh, I did it 6 times. Yep, there's a 6th one here. So I'll remove that one. And now it'll add them. And because we want to see this for now, I'm going to come in here into the variables, companions. I'm going to make this visible so we can verify that it works. Let's hit play. Hadronia. Become a companion. Excuse me. Sounds like a plan. We hit F8. Select our character so we can get to our controller. Go to the companions. And in companions, we now have all 5 of them as companions. Now, if we hit F8 again to come in here, yes, Traveler, stop being a companion, and we hit F8 to check again. There are no longer any companions in here. Now, something you need to make sure you remember here in the dialogue for our companions is I didn't do that here for the remove. Despawn, I left it off. If you want them to despawn, make sure that you have that checked to true. And now we need to do the party stuff. So let's go ahead and check the conditions. NPC and party. Let's see if Hadronia is in the party. And then this one will be the same. Except for one small difference. Go like this. Condition to not. Defaults. Hadronia. Now we need to check. We need to have this set for these two as well. So we actually only need it for the follow me. We'll need another condition. Is in party. We're going to see if Hadronia is in the party. If she is, we don't want to ask them to be a follower. Now for the events, we'll first do the join my party. And this one will play when you want a condition. If is party full. If it's full, I cannot, your party is full. And then I'm going on an adventure. To which we want the event. Add to party. We have Hadronia here. And now we need to make sure we duplicate this 4 times. Not 5. We want a total of 5. Alright. Let's go ahead and get all these people added. Excuse me. Now, leave my party. We need to do the same thing we just did for adding, but to remove. Remove from party. Let's go ahead and grab, no, not parties, in the default. We are going to get Adronia, remove from companions. I'll leave that as false because it doesn't really matter for this experience. But I will check mark one of them as true so that we can confirm that it works. Same with the despawn, but just to make sure it works. Because then I'll change it back after. So now we need to duplicate this up to making it, there be 5 in here. And we'll come here to default. This will now be Bravel. And this one will be Sael. My wife came up with the names. I don't know how to pronounce some of them. Embril. And Emnari. This one we will have despawn. We'll keep them as companions so we can confirm that that still works. And this one we will just remove as companion. Okay. Compile and save. Now we need to do a bunch of testing. We've already done the followers and the companions here. So now we have become a companion and join my party. Perfect. Only 2 options out of the 6 or so we had. However, we should also be saying become a follower. So let's actually fix that right now. So this condition needs to be a not. Compile and save. We hit play and speak to Adronia. There we go. Follow me is back. We want to have her and the rest join the party. They've all looked at me. They're now all followers. We got them all. We hit F8. Select me here. Go to my controller. Companions. They're obviously companions. I didn't expose the party. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. That way we can verify everything is working. Let's come back here into our component here. For the party, we want the party to be visible as well. This is good for debug purposes. Hit Adronia here. Join my party. They are all joining my party. We hit F8. Come right here to the controller. Companions. Party. Look at this. We got Amari. We got Embril. It looks like we have everybody. And we're here as well. So now, let's confirm more of the conversation stuff. Dronia here. Stopping a companion. They cannot be a follower, so that's not even showing up now. We're going to just choose leave my party. Now, somebody should disappear, and one of them will no longer be, this is funny, here as a companion. Come back here, go to the controller, companions. Obviously, the party slots are now empty, which is what should happen outside of the player. And if we come here to companions, we only have 4 companions. And one of them isn't even spawned. And it's not, so if I click on this one, we have Embril, Braille, Sael, Dronia. So we everything is working as intended. So now that we know that everything works, in the next episode we are going to get the save system all set up to make sure that everything saves and loads as it should. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the final episode of this series for this part.